Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the 212A. It's the Tier 9 Soviet SPG located on the south spawn of El Halluf, and it's under the commands of Angelina75. Now, she's been sending in a lot of replays recently, and some of them are really good, so that's why we're doing two videos, one after the other. The 212A, built on the hull of the KV-222, which is, as you know, a Tier 7 hull. At the time, was actually quite strong, lots of armour. It's based on the KV-1 actually originally, but they upgraded it, putting more armour on, made it KV-222, and it was intended to be used to create an Arty with an enclosed cabin, and that was going to be the 212A, but it never got put into production. Now, she's got the 203mm B4 howitzer, which is capable of 1050 alpha. If I put the mouse over there, you can see, and penetrates 52mm of armour, and it's got a 11-metre burst radius. And with the premium ammo, though, that goes up to 12.4 metres. So big footprint from the premium rounds, which means you can do lots of damage to enemy tanks that group together. And she's aiming towards the northwest corner of the map because that's where the heavies tend to go to fight it out. Not just the heavies actually, a lot of the mediums go up here as well. Ah, the first enemy tank's been spotted. It's a Progetto 65 Tier 10 Italian medium with an auto reloader. And there's the group of enemy heavies. They suddenly come to sight, but I'm afraid Angelina's got quite a bit of rescue bloom here, so she's decided not to shoot until she's got a target she can dial in on, and that's going to be that Death Star, the FB215B183. And she got a direct hit. There was no explosion, so the shell hit the target square on. We'll have to wait and see how much damage she did, but I suspect it was substantial. Okay, she's looking around for another target, and she's found one. It's a Jaegeru, but instead she's opting to go after these guys in the northwest corner. Just trying to find a good target to shoot through. Those walls tend to really get in the way actually. I think Wargaming intended to try and make this an Arty safe area. She fires at the 50 TP and it hits the wall. Okay, she's backing up. The further you are away from the target, the more likely the shell's going to be coming down almost vertically, parabolic on the target. That's certainly true for the Conqueror gun carriage, the Tier 10 British SPG, and also for the Griller for that matter. Of course, the Griller's got a much shorter range. She's now got that 50 TP in her sights. Rounds out straight away. That's a direct hit. 398 hit points. It hit the turret. A really good hit. Now you can see the Death Star's missing most of his hit points. He's only got 231 left, but this time round he's hugging the wall because he doesn't want to get hit by Arty again. Obviously, position is everything. But she managed to land a round on the ground next to him, and that probably did some splash damage, but I think she was actually intending to get the 704. Oh, the enemy is now having it out face to face with our guys. Okay, we're trying to dial in on the 60 TP. He's backing up to try and get a better shot. Side scrape the corner. Rounds out straight away she can. Lands right alongside him for 363. The shell veered to the right. Now, obviously, RNG is what actually determines whether or not the shells actually hit the spot or not. The computer runs a program which works out on the basis of a random number generator whether the shell goes to the long, or it goes short, or it goes to the left, or it goes to the right. But basically it does imitate whether or not there's a wind factor involved, or any other factor which actually might cause the shell to veer to one side, whether or not even the gun's been cleaned. That actually does have an effect, funnily enough, on whether or not the shells will go true and straight. Obviously it has an effect on all guns. When you're shooting at a target, you want your gun to be in perfect condition. Rounds out the 60 TP. Oh! 256 hit points this time from a splash. She tracked him as well. Of course, he's going to fix the tracks before she's reloaded. Now, her reload time, if I remember correctly, is somewhere in the region of about 30 seconds, but the book time is a bit longer than that. It's about 35. It looks like the enemy's pushing our guys back, so they're having a lot of success. But we're still one tank up on the enemy, but they've got more hit points than us. And that shot was aimed at the 50 TP. So things are not looking so good at the moment, actually, because we're way down on the enemy on hit points. They've got about 13,000, just under 13,000, and we've only got just 9,000. So 4,000 hit points difference. That's a big difference, even though we're equal on the number of kills. Okay, she's loaded, ready to fire. Just needs the target to hit. And there goes our ST2. Rounds out. And, oh, that was good because it landed alongside the 60 TP. She got 212 hit points. And he got killed the next second. And she picked up 310 stun assist. So it was a good shot. It did the effect. It stopped the guy in his tracks. It tracked him and enabled our team to put a shot into him to finish him off. So the scores are now even again. But now we've got the team grouping together, and this is the time you fire the premium ammo at the enemy. Because when they group together like this, one shell can actually hit two tanks at the same time. And their 50 TP goes down. So it's now just the 704 in that corner. And if you've noticed on hit points, we're still beneath the enemy in terms of numbers. But we've now got an advantage on the number of tanks that are still alive. Well, very briefly, the Jaegeru just killed our Jaegeru. But Angelina gets a shot back at him for 390 by landing that on his engine deck. And that's probably damaged his engine. Might even have crippled it, but he's probably fixed it with his repair kit. So next time he gets hit, he probably won't be able to fix his tracks. Our team are pulling back because, well, the enemy do have the advantage at the moment in that corner. And it's easier for our guys to actually pull back and then take defensive positions and then attack the enemy as they come around the corner. And of course this will give Angelina a chance to actually land some shells on them as well. There's the Jaegeru. So she's aiming ahead of him. Fires the round in. It went to the left. I think that may have been caused by the fact she fired when the rescue wasn't steady. And it veered to the left. The rescue was jumping about a bit. She was having to adjust rather hastily to get the shot on target. And there he's killed by our Waffenträger. So we're one tank down on the enemy now. And nearly 2,000, well, 2,000 hit points down. Over 2,000 hit points. So they do have the advantage in hit points, and also in numbers. But Angelina can right that momentarily, because if she can get a shot on that target, unfortunately the angle at which the vehicle is at the moment makes it difficult for her to get the rescue to aim, so she's moving position, moving a bit further over. She's getting close to the cliff edge, but from here she might actually be able to get an easier shots at the enemy. The enemy is now on the east side of the map because all the enemy on the west side have been wiped out. Now she's marked the spot on the cliff where she thinks they were, but in fact actually they were down the valley. And from this position the hill is actually in the way. She can't get an easy shot because the hill rises up. She's facing on the reverse slope, so she can't get the gun to drop to an angle at which she can hit that target. She had a red line. So she's changing her position so that she can bring the gun down and hit on the target. Yes, you can see now she's got a green line, the line that runs up the centre of from the bottom to the target. If that line goes red, there's something obstructing the field of fire. If it's green, there's nothing obstructing it, and she can hit that spot. There's the enemy. It's a T95 Doom Turtle. She fires. Direct hit. First shot, 172 hit points, and he's taken out the game. And that gives the team the advantage by 1. In fact, it was the Conqueror gun carriage on her team who got the kill on the Doom Turtle. But it means now the enemy is reduced to a GWE100, an Object 261, both Arty, and a Jagdtiger. And there he is, the Jagdtiger. He was down in the valley. She's lining up a shot, rounds out, looks good. It landed directly behind him, it only stunned him. The shell went too long, but he's out the game. And that means now it's just the remaining Arty on the enemy team now. Angelina could stay where she was and shoot them from here. But I think what she's probably going to do is get closer. And obviously the closer you are to the enemy, more likely you are to get an accurate shot on target. And with quicker reaction. Because of course the further away you are from the target, the longer the flight time for the shell. And of course the target can move quite a distance whilst it's in the air. Or the target can move quite a distance while the shell's in the air. Now I don't think she's worried about knocking that bush over, because I don't think the enemy is looking in that direction at this particular moment. She's looking in the corner of the map where the enemy Arty is likely to be, but there's no guarantee they're there because they might be on the eastern edge of the map. The northeast corner is the most likely spot for the enemy Arty, and what she's looking for at the moment is Tracer. Now it's sometimes easier to go to overhead mode, which is you get to by just pressing the shift key, and then you can look down on the battlefield and the Tracer becomes fairly obvious where it's coming from. But she's chosen to use Battle Assistant, which you get to by pressing G. She's marked the ground with the T key to say that's where I'm looking, and that tells her teammates, yep, that's where our Arty is about to fire. Now the Waffenträger's gone into the cap and he's staying there. Or is he? I think he is. I think it's the Object 704 is the one that's moving up to find the enemy, scout for them. There, he's found one of them. There he is. Object 261 lines up, rounds out. Oh, he's been killed. Excuse me. The shell went long and to the left, so obviously again it didn't dial in fully before she shot, and the Object 704 hasn't found the other Arty, so he might be somewhere else. He could be on the east side of the map, a little further down, so he grid square F0, or even up on the heights in somewhere like D0, and I think that's probably where 704's headed. Or is he going back to the cap? No, he is going to have a look in that corner, and Angelina's looking in that corner as well. You can see there's a nice dip in the ground there where you can hide, and that may be where the Arty is, because obviously he is firing on our cap. Angelina fires one last round in because I think the Waffenträger's going to cap out unless he gets reset. So I have the feeling the 704 won't get a chance to get the last kill, and the game's about to be over by a capping. Yes, it is. So they've won this game, and another victory for Angelina75. So let's have a look at the second game. And the second game is on Sand River, one of my favourite maps. And, well, about to start.
Let's get this show on the road.
Game on. Well, you can see there's an M53, M55 on the team as well. It's a tier 10 game with tier 8 Arty in it, or tier 8 tanks in. Angelina's not staying in the normal spots. In fact, she's moving away because this is an encounter game. The cap is in the centre, and it's about capture the cap or kill all the enemy team. but it takes twice as long to cap out. Now she's found a spot just north of the riverbed, but she's decided, no, I'm not going to stick there. I'm actually going to move. And I think that's safer actually, because there is an encounter area on the ridgeline around about grid squares C6 and C7, where enemy tanks tend to fight it out, and if they poke over the ridgeline and she's in that spot, they might actually see her. So it might be easier for her to move to a better position down where the M53, M55 is, or even a little further south than that. That Scorpion Chief's just knocked down all the trees, which tells the enemy there's somebody there. But of course he's gone up onto those heights, and again that's another spot which people tend to aim for. Angelina's gone into this little dip. Now this is another good position. I tend to use this position occasionally. Not all the time though. And this spot is actually quite good because it's well hidden. Any enemy tank that just moving about might not see you. Okay, M103. She fires around in his direction. Knocks down the other palms. Okay. She did stun that M103, but he didn't lose any hit points because he is showing a bit of stun. She's now going for the VK4502B, which is an experimental tank that was designed before the mouse. It's basically a Tiger 2 turret on a mouse hull. And yeah, she got a hit there for 203 hit points and picked up some stun assist afterwards. Now, this M103 is in a very, very dangerous position for our tanks because it's a very good hull down position here. He can quite nicely sit behind those rocks, blasting away, and all they can aim at is his turret. And the M103 has a very bouncy turret. If you shells hit that turret, they'll easily fly off in other directions. It's nicely rounded. Oh, but that's a really good shot from Angelina. 440 hit points. The shell came down on top of him, and that's sort of like reminding him, yeah, our enemy tanks might not be able to get damage on you, but Arty definitely can. Now, their T110E3 is trying to push his way through the wrecks, and he's now got to grips with that Objects 257, and fortunately the 257 is having to use his manoeuvrability to get away from that big 155mm gun, whilst Angelina takes out the 4502B behind those wrecks. But unfortunately the 257 cannot get away from the E3, but he gets wiped out afterwards. So Angelina's got her first kill, and she's looking for another one. She's found a potential candidate, a CS63. That's a Polish medium, one of the new ones. He's very low on hit points. She fires around in, and unfortunately he was just too far away from the aim point when the shell landed, but she did pick up some hit points. Unfortunately we've lost sight of the Lurva and the M103. Now they could be pushing through to try and get to our spot right now. You can see the enemy Jaeger has gone up to the north, and somebody is capping. Now I think it's very likely that the tank that's capping is the M103. We know the Lurva's north of the riverbank. He's just been spotted. There's the Jaeger, and that one lands right behind him and tracks him. There's the Lurva. And as I said, it takes twice as long to cap out in an encounter game. So it's not hypercritical that somebody is capping and we can't see them at the moment, but it may become later. There's the M48 Patton on the enemy team, and he's getting very, very close. In fact, so close that Angelina can't get a good aim on him. She does for a brief moment, and she hits him. 456, that was very lucky. He went through a gap where she could get a shot. The Jaeger's low on hit points. She can probably take him out with one round. He's tracked. She's not loaded, but he's getting his tracks up before she does. A shell in her breech. There you go, tracks are up. It's not moving yet though. She fires the round in blind, and she kills the target. So she's got a second kill on the Jaegeru. Now, somewhere in that cap area, there is an enemy tank. And now I suspect that, as I said, it's the M103, and I think he's probably in amongst those houses. Using the houses for cover. We can see another tree go down, which indicates there's another enemy tank headed in. Yep, there's buildings being destroyed there, so something's knocking the buildings down, and there's two of them. And in fact, actually, there's two enemy tanks, and Angelina resets both of them, and the M103 goes down to our Scorpion G, which means that she got the stun assist. And there goes the T-34, killed by the other Arty. Now, the scores are still even, so it's still anyone's game. Our guys are still congregating around our spawn areas, though. Now, Angelina's looking at those heights, because that's where there might be a tank destroyed, but she's been attracted by this CS-63, the one that she tried to kill earlier. Fires around in, bit late. You need to have a lead on the target. Unfortunately, she didn't have enough lead on that CS-63, but we've got two targets moving together. An Object 430U, 432 rather, not 430U, that's the one with the rear turret. And now she's got the Striv, and it looked like he went to siege mode briefly, but he's now out of siege mode. No, he's gone to siege mode again. He just took a lot of damage, and the M53 kills him. We lost our teammates, the T95E6, over this side. Angelina's trying to get a shot on the CS-63. She fires a round in. I'm not sure that did anything, but the scores are still even. We have the advantage in hit points. Our Scorpion's moving north to see if he can spot the enemy tanks. They might try to come through this gap, this pass. Now the enemy does have an Arty, a 212A. Oh, and he just kills the CS-63 with one shot. But that means there's still that Object 432 somewhere in that area. Scorpion's coming away from the pass. I have the feeling that he's going to double around and try and get to grid square C7 and see if he can find where that Object 432's got to. Yes, that's exactly what he's doing. He's being covered by the Striv 103, who's up on that ridgeline. Oh, we've been spotted! The enemy Scorpions managed to work his way all the way round, and we've been spotted, so we're in view range of him. Now she is stunned, and she got a direct hit shotgun on the Scorpion G, but Angelina has been spotted, she has been damaged, and she's now got a long reload, and of course the enemy RT is still active, so she's trying to get away from him as fast as she can. Unfortunately, this thing does not maneuver very well because it's based on a heavy tank, but our Striv is going to come up behind the Scorpion and hopefully kill him. And he does! So Angelina got away with that one. But what a great shotgun she got on that Scorpion. 522 hit points at close range. So we still have a numerical advantage on the enemy. They've only got that Object 432 and their 212A. Now both of those guys have got 3 kills apiece. Angelina, the Scorpion G and the Striv 103B all have 2 kills apiece. It shows they're really good players as well. Now she's being careful not to knock any buildings down because that would give away her position to the enemy Arty. She's desperately trying to avoid... Oh, she did knock that well over. And if she moves a bit further, she's going to be knocking down some of these stalls. Again, that will give away her position, but she needs to get into the cap to put pressure on the enemy. It also means the enemy Arty is probably going to be firing into the cap to try and get resets. She's parking herself just directly behind that building, but also behind that palm tree. And the Object 432 is coming in. There he is. He's on the ridge line. I'm not sure he spotted her. No, he didn't spot her. And we are capping all three tanks, the Striv, the Scorpion and the 212A are all in the cap, but somebody got a reset there. So I think the 212A on the enemy team launched a shell in, which did get a reset on one of them. The Scorpion's left the cap and he looks like he's going to go after the 432. Yes, he's chasing him. Runs out. Oh, brilliant shot. It only wounded the 432, but the Scorpion was ready and fired the round in just at the right moment. And that means now there's only the 212A on the enemy team. And they can basically stop capping, but I don't think they're going to, because obviously with less than 3 minutes left on the clock, and it does take 3 minutes 40 seconds to cap out on an encounter. If they all left the cap right now, then they wouldn't be able to cap out before the end of the game, and that would give the victory, or it would actually give away a draw, and they don't want to do that. So they're going to hope that the Scorpion finds the 212A, and if he doesn't find him, then they'll settle for the draw instead. Okay, is he in this little hollow in the riverbed? It doesn't matter, they've capped out and won, and so the victory is theirs. Angelina fires around him for good measure just at the end to see if the enemy was hiding in the bushes. And here's the end of battle stats for the first game. That was a first class tanker for Angelina75 in the 212A. She also managed to get a bruise medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. She got 9. And she got a Gauze medal, an epic medal for doing more damage, exceeding 8 times the hit points of her own vehicle. And a Confederate medal for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else in the team. At least 6 tanks subsequently taken out by other teammates. And you can see that she actually didn't get any kills at all in the game, but she did stun and hit a lot of the enemy, and that contributed to her getting another medal, a Battle Hero medal. She got a win rate of 3,264, which is Super Unicum standard. Let's have a look at the team score and see how she managed to get. In fact, this was her first game of the night, she said. First game, very well played. Okay, well, she didn't get the top damage in the game. That actually went to the ST2 on the enemy team, 4,755 hit points, but he didn't get a high caliber. The next highest scorer was a Waffenträger Alpha Panzer with 4,490, and he managed to get an Invader medal. He was the one who capped out in the end, if you remember. And then it's Angelina, third highest damage with 3,947 hit points, and of course her 2 medals. And when it came to kills, well, that went to the Conqueror gun carriage. Sorry, excuse my voice going. He managed to get 3 kills, 2 kills, the M451, the Emil, and the Object 704, and the ST2 on the enemy team. When it came to basic speed, though, you can see Angelina managed to get 2nd place, with the AMX M451 getting 1,150, Angelina getting 1,089, and the Emil 2 and the Waffenträger following up. Angelina fired 16 shots in this game, got 4 direct hits, 1 penetration, 14 splash. Damage of 3,947 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. She did damage 7 of the enemy, but didn't get any kills, but she did get 2,780 hit points of stun assist or 14 stuns. On a premium count, she earned 63,456 credits, and for holiday ops, she got 26,017, total 89,473 credits overall. After ammunition resupply, took away 58,913 credits profit. She earned 1,633 XP, got 9,804 from Holiday Ops, and took away 11,437 experience points altogether. So first game was an excellent game. A first class tanker, very well played. She did get one penetration on the enemy. I'm actually curious to which one she actually penetrated. Oh my gum, look at that. The first shot she fired at the Death Star, the one where he was a bit wide away from the rock, she penetrated him. She got 1,952 hit points. Now, I don't think that one shell did 1,952. I think what actually happened is she got a high roll with the first shot, which penetrated the turret of the Death Star, and the second shell that landed in the dirt next to him actually did almost as much damage, but not quite as much. Didn't penetrate him, but must have done at least maybe 500, 400, 500 hit points of damage as well. And so 1,952 is the total damage she did to that Death Star. She actually probably damaged him the most in the game. So huge game there from Angelina75. Let's have a look at the second game. Well, that was her first ace tanker in the 212A. I know it's the first because you only get the scrolls the first time, and she's got them on this occasion. She also managed to get a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. She got 13, and she got a Confederate medal as well for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else, including the fact that she actually took out 2 enemy tanks as well during that game, as you can see there. And yeah, she actually picked up cap points as well. Her win rate from that game was 3,822, which is Super Unicum standard. So let's have a look at the team score. Well, in this game, she didn't get the highest damage, and in fact, actually, she's got 4th place on damage overall. The highest damage was the Object 432 on the enemy team with 4,485. Didn't get the high caliber though. The next highest damage after that was, in fact, the CS63, the one she narrowly missed getting a kill on earlier on in the game. 3,275 hit points to him, and then 3,236 to the Scorpion G, and then we've got Angelina with 2,871. So 4th place on damage, but she had a good game. When it came to kills, she had joint 2nd place. There was 4 tanks with 3 kills apiece: the Scorpion G, the M53, M55, the Object 432, and the 212A on the enemy team, who was never discovered. He got 3 kills as well. And Angelina got 2 kills alongside the Strip 103B, the CS63 and the Scorpion G on the enemy team. When it came to base XP though, she got 2nd place with 1,173 going to the Scorpion G, 1,135 going to Angelina, not that far away. And these were the only 2 players who managed to get over 1,000 base in the game. She fired 14 rounds in this game. 5 direct hits, no penetrations but 14 splash. Damage of 2,871 hit points, of which 1,893 were at more than 300 meters. She damaged 8 of the enemy, killed 2 of them, and did 2,318 hit points of stun assist off 12 stuns. And she got 46 cap points and 50 defense points by resetting the cap. On a free-to-play account, she actually earned 35,237 credits from this game, 14,447 from Holiday Ops, 49,684 credits altogether, and after repair and ammunition resupply, she still took away a profit of 17,224 credits. She picked up 1,135 base XP, 5,108 for completing the mission Holiday Ops, and 6,243 experience points altogether. So brilliant first ace tanker, including the fact obviously she had to shotgun that Scorpion at fairly close range after he spotted her. The moment that 6th sense goes off, it's a shock for most Arty players because it means you have been discovered. The enemy knows where you are and they have seen you, and that normally means an enemy Arty round is about to hit you as well. But she was very calm about it. She took aim on the Scorpion, hit him and whacked him for a lot of hit points, 522, and then calmly moved into a position, well, as quickly as she could, so he couldn't shoot on her anymore, and the Striv finished off that guy to stop him getting a kill on her. So 2 great games by Angelina75. I think you can see this lady is exceptionally good with Arty, and she really enjoys her game. So please give you a like for this video. Leave a comment down below, and thank you very much indeed for watching on both YouTube and Rumble.